Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that 80% of the stress, exhaustion, and busy work that weighs you down could be cut out, and you'd still achieve more than you are today. That's the promise of the 80-20 rule, also called the Pareto Principle. At first glance, it sounds like a productivity cliché, but once you dig into it, once you start living by it, you see how powerful it really is. The rule says that in almost every area of life, 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. That small slice of input creates the vast majority of output. And the flip side is just as true. Most of what you do barely moves the needle. You could stop doing it, and your life wouldn't change. This truth was first spotted by Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist in the late 19th century. He noticed that 20% of the pea plants in his garden produced 80% of the peas. Curious, he started looking at other systems. He found that 20% of Italians owned 80% of the land. Over time, researchers discovered this wasn't a quirk of peas or property. It was a pattern of imbalance that shows up everywhere. Today, in businesses, 20% of customers drive 80% of revenue. In tech, 20% of bugs cause 80% of crashes. In sales teams, 20% of reps close 80% of deals. It's not exact math, it's a lens for seeing how uneven the world is. And if you know how to look through it, you gain leverage. Now think about your own life. Imagine your to-do list right now. 10 items long. If the 80-20 rule holds true, 2 of those items matter far more than the rest combined. They are the leverage points. They are the small hinges that swing the big doors. But most of us don't operate that way. Most of us attack the easy stuff first, the emails, the errands, the tasks that make us feel productive but don't create impact. We mistake motion for progress. But the masters, they go straight to the leverage points. They ask themselves, if I could only do 1 or 2 things today, which ones would matter most? Then they pour themselves into those and let the rest shrink. Here's why this works. Not all effort is created equal. Some tasks create ripples that change everything downstream. Others are dead ends. Think about Jeff Bezos in Amazon's early years. He could have tried to sell everything from day one. Instead, he focused tightly on books. That one product line built infrastructure, trust, and systems that later allowed Amazon to expand into everything. The books were the 20% that unlocked the 80%. Think about Apple under Steve Jobs. When he returned, the company was bloated with dozens of mediocre products. He slashed them down to a handful. That ruthless focus birthed the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone. He cut the trivial many and doubled down on the vital few. But here's where it gets really interesting. The 80-20 rule stacks. Inside the 20%, there's another 20%. That means 4% of what you do could be driving 64% of your results. And inside that again, 1% driving half. This is why it feels like some people have superpowers. They've identified and obsessed over the tiniest fraction of work that unlocks massive returns. The rest of us drown in the noise. They live in the signal. Let's make this concrete. Say you're in sales. Out of 100 clients, 20 bring in most of your income. And within those 20, maybe 4 are the true gold mines. The smart move isn't to scatter yourself evenly. It's to identify the 4, nurture them deeply, and let the rest fade. Or think about health. Hundreds of tactics float around. Detox teas, fad diets, complicated supplements. But the real results, they come from a handful of actions. Quality sleep, whole foods, consistent movement, stress management. Master those and you're already in the top 10% of health. Everything else is details. In relationships, it's not the hundreds of contacts that shape your life. It's the few close bonds that create 80% of your happiness. Pour yourself into those and let the casual noise fade. The problem is that humans are drawn to the trivial many. Why? Because the trivial many is easy. It gives quick dopamine hits. Check your email, clear a notification, cross a low-value task off the list. It feels good, but it doesn't matter. The vital few, on the other hand, are hard. They take courage. They take focus. They might mean risking failure. They're the high-stakes sales call, the difficult conversation, the strategic project. That's why most people avoid them. But the cost of avoiding them is staggering. You end up with days full of effort, but lives empty of progress. So how do you break out? First, you track. Look back at the last 3 months of your life. Where did your best results come from? Which activities produced breakthroughs? Write them down. Patterns will emerge. Second, you eliminate. Once you see what doesn't matter, stop doing it. Say no. Delegate, automate, shrink the trivial until it barely exists. Third, you amplify. Double down on the vital few. Schedule them first. Build your day around them. Guard them with everything you have. This is the hard part. Living 80-20 means tolerating loss. You will let balls drop. You will leave emails unanswered. You will miss meetings. You will say no more often. And people will notice. Some will even get angry. But this is the price of leverage. You cannot hold on to everything and still move forward. You cannot live a legendary life while clinging to the illusion of being everything to everyone. You have to choose the few things that truly matter and let the rest go. And here's the mental reframe. Not choosing is still a choice. If you don't choose your vital few, the trivial many will choose you. They will eat your hours, drain your energy, scatter your focus. And when you look back, you'll wonder where it all went. But if you embrace 80-20, you take control. You stop living by default. You start living by design. Think about it at the identity level. Right now, 20% of your beliefs drive 80% of your behavior. If your core belief is I can grow, then most of your actions align with growth. If your core belief is I'll never succeed, then most of your actions sabotage you. Change the few beliefs that matter and your life reorganizes around them. That's 80-20 in your mind. Imagine 6 months from now. You've stripped away the noise. You've stopped pretending every task is equal. You've cut the clutter and focused on the few things that matter. Your work feels lighter but produces more. Your stress drops, your progress explodes. You have time, energy, and clarity. You've built a life where effort aligns with outcome. That's the promise of the 80-20 rule. Work less, achieve more. And it all starts with one question. What's my 20%? Imagine going one layer deeper into the 80-20 principle. Inside the vital 20% of actions, there's always another 20% that matters more. That means 4% of what you do produces nearly 2/3 of your results. And inside that, perhaps 1% produces half. This fractal effect is why certain people appear to have an almost magical ability to create outsized results. They've identified their highest leverage fraction and pour themselves into it. Everyone else is stuck chasing the trivial. The lesson is clear. The closer you get to the core 4%, the greater your leverage becomes. Let's explore how this plays out. In business, it might mean one flagship product generates the majority of profits, while all other offerings are distractions. In fitness, maybe it's 2 or 3 compound lifts that give almost all the strength and physique benefits, while dozens of smaller exercises barely move the needle. In creativity, it might be the single daily ritual, like writing every morning for an hour, that fuels books, speeches, or viral content, while endless tinkering produces little. Once you find the 4% and design your life around it, you operate on rocket fuel. But here's the paradox. Living by 80-20 requires courage, because it means abandoning the comfort of busy work. The trivial many give us a sense of control. We tick boxes, clear emails, attend meetings. It feels safe, like progress. The vital few, by contrast, often feel uncomfortable. They demand focus, courage, and exposure to failure. That's why most people avoid them. But avoiding them is also why most people stay average. If you want extraordinary, you have to push through the discomfort and live in the land of the vital few. That means you must master the art of saying no. Every yes to the trivial is a no to the vital. Think about Steve Jobs' line, "I'm as proud of what we don't do as I am of what we do." The discipline of elimination is as important as the discipline of execution. Your life will expand in proportion to the things you cut. That might mean refusing low-value meetings, unsubscribing from distractions, or walking away from commitments that don't serve you. It might mean upsetting people. But the cost of pleasing everyone is diluting yourself into irrelevance. Next comes amplification. Once you cut the noise, you have to maximize the signal. If 20% of clients give you most of your revenue, love them deeply. If 20% of workouts give you most of your results, master them. If 20% of habits give you most of your clarity, ingrain them so deeply they become your identity. Double, triple, quadruple your energy into the things that move mountains. That's how you create exponential results. Now let's talk about environment. You can't just rely on willpower to live the 80-20 way. You have to design your surroundings so the vital few are easy and the trivial many are hard. That might mean scheduling your most important work first thing in the morning when energy is highest. It might mean blocking social media, turning off notifications, or keeping your phone out of reach. It might mean automating low-value tasks with technology or delegating them to others. Create friction for the trivial, remove friction for the vital. That's how you stay aligned without constant struggle. And then there's belief. The 80-20 rule applies not only to actions, but to mindset. A handful of core beliefs drive most of your behavior. If you believe my value comes from being busy, you'll drown in the trivial. If you believe my value comes from results, you'll focus on the vital. Upgrade the few beliefs that shape your identity, and everything else changes. Picture your life 6 months from now if you commit to this. Your calendar is no longer bloated. Your days are no longer frantic. You wake up with clarity, attack the 2 or 3 things that matter, and let the rest fall away. You achieve more while doing less. You feel calmer but more powerful. That's the 80-20 life. Not scattered but sharp. Not exhausted but energized. The world keeps demanding more, but you keep giving less, and somehow you keep winning more. So here's your challenge. Tonight, write down every commitment, every habit, every task. Ask which of these truly matter, which are producing most of my results. Circle the few, cross out the rest. Tomorrow, live by the circle. It will feel strange at first, even wrong. But soon you'll see the truth. Effort does not equal outcome. Focus equals outcome. And when you master that focus, you'll unlock the life you've been chasing.